Hi, this is Mike. I'm reading Robert Alter's translation of Genesis chapter 38. And it happened at this time that Judah went down from his brothers and pitched his tent by an Adullamite named Hira. And Judah saw there the daughter of a Canaanite man named Shua. And he took her, and came to bed with her. And she conceived and bore a son, and called his name And she conceived again, and bore a son, and called his name Onan. And she bore still another son, and called his name Shelah. And he was at Chezib when she bore him. And Judah took a wife for his firstborn, and her name was Tamar. And Judah's firstborn, was evil in the eyes of Yahweh, and Yahweh put him to death. And Judah said to Onan, Come to bed with your brother's wife, and do your duty as brother-in-law for her, and raise up seed for your brother. And Onan knew that the seed would not be his, and so when he would come to bed with his brother's wife, he would waste his seed on the ground, so to give no seed to his brother. And what he did was evil in the eyes of Yahweh, and he put him to death as well. And Judah said to Tamar, his daughter-in-law, Stay a widow in your father's house till Shelah, my son, is grown up. For he thought, lest he do die like his brothers. And Tamar went and stayed at her father's house. And a long time passed. And the daughter of Shua, Judah's wife, died. And after the mourning period, Judah went up to his sheep shearers, he with Hira the Adullamite, his friend, to Timnah. And Tamar was told, saying, Look, your father-in-law is going up to Timnah to shear his sheep. And she took off her widow's garb and covered herself with a veil and wrapped herself and sat by the entrance to Enaim, which is on the road to Timnah. For she saw that Shelah had grown up, and she had not been given to him as wife. And Judah saw her, and he took her for a whore, for she had covered her face. And he turned aside to her by the road and said, Here, pray, let me come to bed with you. For he knew not that she was his daughter-in-law. And she said, What will you give me for coming to bed with me? And he said, I personally will send a kid from the flock. And she said, Only if you give a pledge till you send it. And he said, What pledge shall I give you? And she said, Your seal and cord, and the staff in your hand. And he gave them to her, and he came to bed with her, and she conceived by him. And she rose and went her way, and took off the veil she was wearing, and put on her widow's garb. And Judah sent the kid by the hand of his friend the Adullamite to take back the pledge from the woman's hand. And he did not find her. And he asked the men of the place, saying, Where is the colt harlot, the one at Enaim by the road? And they said, There has been no colt harlot here. And he returned to Judah and said, I could not find her. And the men of the place said as well, There has been no colt harlot here. And Judah said, Let her take them, lest we be a laughingstock. Look, I sent this kid, and you could not find her. And it happened about 3 months later that Judah was told, saying, Tamar, your daughter-in-law, has played the whore, and what's more, she's conceived by her whoring. And Judah said, Take her out to be burned. Out she was taken, when she sent to her father-in-law, saying, By the man to whom these belong I have conceived. And she said, Recognize, pray, whose are this seal and cord and this staff? And Judah recognized them. And he said, She is more right than I, for have I not failed to give her to Shelah my son? And he knew her again no more. And it happened at the time she gave birth that, look, there were twins in her womb. And it happened as she gave birth that one put out his hand, and the midwife took it and bound a scarlet thread on his hand, to say, This one came out first. And as he was drawing back his hand, look, out came his brother. And she said, What a breach you have made for yourself. And she called his name Perez, And afterward out came his brother, on whose hand was the scarlet thread, and she called his name Zerah.